Good morning. What is going on, everybody? William Grazione here of The Educated Dieter, and in today's video we are taking you guys through how to check your fasted or postprandial blood sugar. Now, what's the difference there? Checking it fasted essentially is just making sure that when you check it, you're in a fasted state. Checking it postprandial means that, now, depending on how fast of a metabolizer you are, you're going to be checking either 2.5, 3, or 3.5 hours post-meal. Now, for consistency purposes, I typically always only recommend checking it fasted first thing in the morning. Now, keep in mind, as long as you have a normal functioning 24-hour circadian rhythm, right, like your body releases melatonin in the evening, releases cortisol first thing in the morning, kind of as your ability to get up and go, right, gives you a little bit of blood sugar so you can get up and conquer the world. Keep that in mind when you're checking fasted. So it might be a little bit higher first thing in the morning, but that is because your body naturally releases a stress hormone first thing in the morning. Now keep in mind that not all cortisol, like cortisol, I know we talk a lot about cortisol regarding, just stress and things like that, but cortisol in and of itself, a little bit of cortisol, it's not bad. But when it builds up and it becomes chronic and accumulated, that's when it gets bad. So let's go ahead and chat about this here really quick. So I've been getting some questions from my clients because I have found a lot of interest in checking what fasted blood sugar is and just seeing like what the specific client's blood sugar is before we actually start a fat loss phase. Now, why this is important, we could talk about in a different video, but we also do have another video on the channel that goes more into detail, which is a PowerPoint presentation that I did kind of on the same topic, but we did not cover how to check your fasted blood sugar. So that's what we're gonna do. You're gonna see me poke the finger and everything. If you notice, I'm holding my finger like this. It's because whenever you check your fasted blood sugar, you want to make sure that you clean your finger before you do it. If you have a dirty finger, it's not going to be good. You're sticking a needle in that thing. Make sure it's clean, okay? Now, what we went ahead and did before we started the video was we took one of these little needle pokers, okay? One of those. You take that guy and you put it inside your little trigger machine, okay? You insert into the top and then you twist the top off and you have an exposed needle, okay? That's what's gonna be going in. Now, personally, I just like to use number 5. You can turn this thing up as high as you like. Number 1 is like barely even pricks you. I don't even know if it'll break your skin. Number 2, again, barely pokes you. I just crank it up to 5 because I can pretty much guarantee that it's gonna go all the way through my skin and I'm gonna be able to get the blood out that I need. If you do it too low on the machine, you may not be able to get the blood out because depending on how thick your skin is, it may not go all the way through, okay? So we have that primed up, locked, loaded, number 5, pull it back. Now it's ready to go, all right? Now, the second thing we have to do is get our lace-it out. Now, with a lace-it, these are probably going to be the most expensive thing that you're probably going to have to buy if you want to make this something that you do somewhat on a normal basis, just being more in tune with what's going on in your body, okay? Now, for those of you who may be asking, well, why the hell do I need to check my blood sugar? Well, blood sugar variability is definitely one of those things that's being more discovered now, I think, more than ever. And having the ability to control blood sugar variability, in my opinion, and based off of some of the research that's been done on type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, and blood sugar variability as a whole, can actually extend your life. So think about that. All right, so here we are, number 5. We take the lace-it, we put it in the machine, push it in. Once it's in, the machine turns on, okay? Now, where you can buy these, you can get these at Walgreens. I got a 35 pack for 20 bucks. So, maybe 70 cents a piece. But what I would highly recommend is that you guys go to Amazon and you buy them on Amazon because you can get like 100 of them for a much better price. I think you could probably get 100 of them for like $25. So much better price on Amazon, and that's what I would recommend. So here we go, guys. Machine is on. Finger is not ready yet. I got to show you guys how to do that too. So what I like to do, specifically first thing in the morning, because a lot of people in the morning are dehydrated, I'll just kind of let my arm kind of sit here for a sec. And then basically what I'll do is I'll kind of use my other finger and my thumb to push down to where my finger turns red. Now you can see my finger's obviously red. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the little poker right on the side of my finger in red, and I'm going to push. Bam. Okay, good. A little bit of blood comes out. Now how much blood you need? I like to go with about a nice little bead just like that. Okay. And then very important step, and this was a mistake that I used to make when I first started. I used to put the blood on top of the machine. What you want to do is you want to take the blood and you want to put it right on the side of the lacet. And the lacet absorbs the blood into the strip, and then we essentially begin the countdown. So here we are. This morning, we are reading at a 105. Now, some of you may see that and be like, wow, Will, that's pretty high. And you're right, it is. But we have to take into consideration some other things. We have to take into consideration the fact that I have intentionally been carb loading over the last probably 6-8 weeks. And I've been really trying to optimize my performance in my gym right over there. And I train probably 3-4, I'd say probably, I average 4 days a week, but it's doing a lot of things when I do train. Kind of almost more like, it's like a chest, back, arm, shoulder, lower body, chest, back, arm, shoulder, lower body. So I'm just making sure that I'm prioritizing my recovery, but I really am trying to make some gains in the gym. Now, when you're doing that, obviously we're aware that glucose fuels anaerobic activity. So if you're a physique athlete and you see, wow, I have 105, is that bad? It comes with the territory of carb loading, guys. It's not like it's a terrible thing, but what we have to be mindful of is that, is this optimal? Are my receptor sites optimized to be able to pull in these glucose molecules to really shuttle these into my muscle? Now, I would say that the best pump you probably ever get is going to be either like post-diet phase, after a fast, anything like that, and it's because you are so insulin sensitive. The last time I did an insulin sensitivity reset, you guys probably saw it here. I went from like a 118 down to like a 75. Now, granted, I used a different method then, but when I started to eat again and I started to train again, those pumps, oh my God, my shoulders felt like they were gonna explode, okay? And I haven't been feeling like that probably over the last couple of weeks. And what happened was yesterday, I ate my same normal bowl of oatmeal I eat every day. I'm like, it's the same thing every day, legitimately, same thing. And I ate, it was probably 100 grams of carbs because I was gonna go train right after. I had just got off of like 6 or 7 client calls, open office hours, which was like an hour long, and I was ready to go lift. I eat this bowl of oatmeal, and immediately after, probably 20-25 minutes after, I just feel that dump. Boom. And obviously, I know what's happening, right? My pancreas dumped a bunch of insulin into my bloodstream, carbohydrates trying to get in, and I'm just super, super tired and super lethargic. Now, I knew at that moment in time, because my vision actually started to get weird, and I get this like darkness over my eyes, that my blood sugar had peaked up over 130. Now, for some of you, you're like, damn, 130 is high. It is. It's really high, and it freaked me out. So what ended up happening, and do keep in mind as well, my whole family was overweight. My grandma was a type 2 diabetic. Mom was a type 2 diabetic. My sister, for the majority of her life, she's been heavy. My uncle was very heavy. Everybody in my family's heavy, besides me, I guess, relative to, visually how you look, I guess. And so I know that I'm always going to be running high if carbohydrates are high. It takes a lot of work for me to get down into like the 70s and 80s, things like that. Even if I try to remove all stresses out of my life, remain super chill, all that stuff, sleep really well, all that stuff still runs high. So in order to combat this, having this 130 something spike up, I went and I got my test strips, I went and I got my berberine, and I went and I got my L-carnitine. Now, why do we need these three things when we're trying to optimize insulin sensitivity? Well, obviously you have to have your test strips because you have to bring light or bring awareness to what's actually going on. Now, this supplement, berberine, I recommend this to pretty much, I mean, if there's any glimmer that somebody's having some blood sugar issues, I typically recommend berberine. Now, how much of it? I recommend 500 milligrams per meal that is not a pre or post-workout meal. So as an example, if you're having 4 meals per day, you have a breakfast, you have a dinner, and then in the middle of the day you train, your pre-post workout, no berberine. Your breakfast, have berberine. Your dinner, have berberine, so long as the amount of carbohydrate in those 2 meals surpasses 25 to 35 grams of carbohydrates. Because what we're essentially trying to do there is we are trying to get away from the variability in blood sugar, constantly spiking and dropping, because unless we have this data, we really don't know how high the highs are and how low the lows are. Now, 105 for me, that's probably as low as I've been for a while, because I don't know, because I wasn't checking. But yesterday when I spiked up over 130, that's not a good range, guys. Okay, spiking up 30 points, that's just not a good. We're looking for consistency. We're looking for blood sugar variability, consistency. Now, why this is important is because some new research obviously is coming out, and things are being found within type 1 diabetics, type 2 diabetics. And the better you can control your blood sugar variability throughout the duration of your life, the longer you will live. Think about that, okay? We're basically avoiding calcification of arteries, organs, all that stuff. Think about that. Extending the duration of your life. Magical, okay? Now, 500 milligrams, this supplement, I got this from GNC, nothing special. You can go on Amazon and find 500 milligram caps of berberine as well. Now, L-carnitine. Some of you have probably heard of this before. Why are we using this? Well, what's the primary focus of L-carnitine? In, obviously, clinically recommended dosages, 3 to 6 grams per day has been shown to help take glucose molecules, shuttle them over the mitochondria to be utilized and absorbed as fuel. So therefore, if I can actually help speed up the process of burning glucose so that I can lower my blood sugar, that's a huge plus. On top of that, I'm also going to be reducing my carbohydrates over the next probably 5 days, and I'm also going to add in some cardiovascular exercise. I will either be riding a spin bike or taking a 20-25 minute walk every day as a means to just make sure that I can get some of this glucose out of my system. Now, to top it all off, what I will also be doing is I will be making sure that I do some form of resistance training on a daily basis moving forward, because resistance training uses the most glucose, okay? So with that being said, that's how you check your fasted blood sugar. If you guys have any questions for me, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below. My name is William with The Educated Dieter, helping you learn how to diet smart, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.